Hi, everybody. I know there's been some concern about my ankle sprain, but I'm here to tell you, Chiefs Kingdom, you just rest easy, because I'm ready to take it to Joe Burrow this Sunday at 5:30 Central Time. So don't be worrying about my ankle. I'm ready to get this one, and I'm ready to go to the Super Bowl. Are you with me, Kansas City?
I like Super Bowls.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Kansas City Chiefs freaks worldwide of all ages, break out your Patrick Mahomes jerseys, because the man will not be denied this Sunday, January 29th at Arrowhead Stadium. Now, I know people might be saying, hold on, Shaggy. You throwing up some concerns about holding him out till next year in case his ankle's a little sore. Let's take it one day at a time. Let's trust the coaching staff. Let's trust the entire doctors and athletic on the team, and let's let it all play out. The Chiefs are not going to be denied this Sunday at 5:30 Central Time in Kansas City. Believe in your team. Believe in this franchise. Yes, Cincinnati walked into Buffalo and pushed them around like they were nothing. That's not going to happen this Sunday. You are tuned into the Arrowhead Allies. We're going to break it down. Noah's got a special guest joining us real soon. I would like to thank Brian B. Shinen, Mikhail Matthew coming from TGN Sports in LA. Noah and Clint, you guys are the man. You guys are the men. Let's do this. Let's send Clint and Noah to Radio Row 1 week from today so they can represent Kansas City in style with your Kansas City Chiefs. What you got, brothers?
Shane, I'll never forget the feeling last year walking onto Radio Row, seeing the giant poster of Joe Burrow and Matthew Stafford there at the convention center in Los Angeles, California, and in Glendale, Arizona this year. There is an opportunity. What did Marty Schottenheimer always say? There is no time to talk. There is just a time for an opportunity. That's what we have here. Brian B. Shinen, 5 straight AFC Championship. Just change the venue. The AFC Championship game is at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri. And Brian B. Shinen, when the Chiefs drafted Patrick Mahomes, I heard a comp that said, I think his ceiling might be Jay Cutler. And you know what I said, Brian B. Shinen? I said, sign me up for that. Anything to get me to just one AFC Championship game, just like Jay Cutler did with the Bears. And now this is 5 in a row and a chance, Brian, to take that one bigger step towards immortality for Patrick LaVon Mahomes.
There we go. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Let's go.
There we go.
Apologies. But Marty Schottenheimer, is this better?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
All right. Marty Schottenheimer also said losing is indigestible. And I think Patrick Mahomes feels the exact same way. What guts from a guy to come out, with the high ankle sprain, and I was cautious about it. I'm like, I don't know, man. He's hobbling real bad. It could be a fracture. It could be something else. He could make it worse. He could mess with his career potentially. But he is a soldier, man. And that's the thing about Patrick. He's not just all superstar. He's not just all glitz and glamour. He's guts and glory too. Yep. And to have 5 straight AFC Championship games, period, let alone in this city, I tell you what, man. But prior to 2018, the last time the Chiefs were in the AFC Championship game, which happened only once, was in January of 94. It was a 93 season.
Yep.
And I had only wished, deep down inside of me, something like a little bit of me was like, I just wish we can only make it to the AFC Championship game, let alone the damn Super Bowl. To host 5 in a row is unprecedented. It's remarkable. And not just with Patrick, but this regime. Andy Reid, I don't know what it is about certain coaches like him and Sean Payton, where they could just get anybody to step up. Everybody on the 53, everybody is available and ready to step up and fill in. And for Andy and company to keep the bus rolling when we had a flat tire, a big flat tire. You can't say enough about this group, man. But it starts with 15. And he's magnificent. You can't say enough great things about that guy.
Absolutely, 100%. And ladies and gentlemen in the chat, do we have a guest for you? Former Kansas City Chief from 94 to 97. Also a former Cincinnati Bengal from 2000 to 2002. Born in Cincinnati, Ohio. Went to the University of Cincinnati, but we promise you, he is red and gold all the way through. This man, number 99 in your programs, but number 1 in your hearts. Ladies and gentlemen, Vaughn Booker.
Hey.
What's happening, fellas?
Was that a pretty good
Come on,
intro there,
Vaughn.
Vaughn? Have you been intro? Was that
Hey,
proper
what's happening with
respect on that intro? That was pretty good, huh?
Hell yeah.
I can't hear all of y'all at the same time. What's going on with you?
How you doing, man?
I'm hanging in there, man. You know, I'm excited.
I
I've
see
been
you.
listening for
I
the last
see you
couple
repping
of
the.
days. Oh, these pajamas, buddy.
Man, I see you repping the. Okay.
I didn't even do this. I didn't even do this for the show. That's what I go to bed in.
Man, but hey, it's gonna be some exciting times, you know, especially for you, two teams that you were able to play for to match up once again for this AFC Championship game. We got a lot to say here with the Allies. I want to know what's your thoughts on the matchup and just being able to give us that side of it. Like, I played for both of these teams. Is there a certain team you're rooting for more than the other? Chiefs, baby?
All the way. I'll tell
Okay.
you what, though. The Cincinnati Bengals, they are definitely a good team. They've shown throughout the whole season how resilient they can be throughout the season. They don't mind going on the road. And right now they have our number. So with that being said, I think we definitely got to take them seriously. I think we let one get away from us last year. And I think that's really going to have to be on our mind to not make mistakes. That's going to kill our own progress to get into the Super Bowl. I really believe that this is going to be our year. I'm not worried about Patrick's ankle. I know what kind of player he is. He's shown us throughout his whole career so far that he's not going to let something like that in the game this big, stop him from playing.
Hey, Vaughn. Pleasure to meet you. Thank you for coming on the show on Arrowhead Allies. But man, I don't look at this game as a Patrick Mahomes game, as much praise as we just gave him. But man, I'm looking at Chris Jones.
Definitely.
I'm looking at Patrick Mahomes of the defense, in my opinion, because it starts and ends with that man. So you in the D-line room last year, guys missed a couple of sacks on Joe Burrow that really could have hurt the Bengals' chances. What is Chris Jones and company thinking going into this game? Mike Dana and Frank Clark and Noddy and Saunders. In that D-line locker room, which I know is tightly knit.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
I think we're going to have to talk about staying in our lanes this game. Chris Jones is an incredible player. He's going to get his pressures. He's going to get his sacks. But if he has the pressure on him to where Joe Burrow can escape left or right, that's when Joe Burrow is good, just as well as Patrick Mahomes. I think the front four needs to play in unison. We need to get Snead to get that secondary under control. And I'm not worried about our linebackers. Our linebackers are some of the best in the league. But Chris Jones, I'm not worried about him. I just want him to convey to the rest of the guys, let's stay in our lanes, let's get the pressure together and meet at the quarterback.
So, Vaughn, I got a question for you. What's your thoughts on the play of the safeties? I feel they really picked it up at the end of the season. Justin Reed is doing his thing. Juan Thornhill is coming off probably one of his best games of his career, making some great plays on the ball. What's your thoughts on them and their impact on this game?
I think it's going to be huge. Cincinnati has some great wide receivers over there, and we have to be disciplined back there. They have been playing a lot better the second half of the season. We tend to do that almost every year, though, don't we? The defense kind of a little suspect the first couple of games, and then towards the second part of the season, we kind of turn it on. So it's going to be a lot of pressure on them. It's going to be a team effort, defensively wise, offensively wise, and in the special teams. But I think if we can just play collectively, not shoot ourselves in the foot, we'll be okay. It's going to be a shootout. I definitely believe that. It's going to be the kind of game to where whoever makes the least amount of mistakes, plus who has the ball the longest, that kind of thing. But it's going to be great. Those guys are playing great right now.
Hey, Vaughn. I appreciate you always coming out to Lot D when you come into town for alumni.
Every time.
I got love seeing you the last couple of years. My question for you is about the Bengals offensive line. You know, they put in a new right tackle 3 weeks ago,
Right.
and they had a new left tackle last week, as well as a new guard. What did you see that this makeshift offensive line was able to do in Buffalo? Was it because of the snow that they were able to push the Buffalo Bills defensive line around? What did you see from this makeshift offensive line that was supposed to be the detriment, the Achilles heel of the Cincinnati offense, that they were able to be so successful yesterday?
No Von Miller helps.
I think once again they came to those players. They told them next man up. You have to perform for us. You are our last resort right now. Don't be the guy that's going to mess up. You know, we're going to get you some help with some chip blocks and things of that nature. I think they played pretty well yesterday against Buffalo. I think the snow definitely has something to do with it, but Buffalo was in the snow too. You know, so you can't really put it 100% on that. But they're playing well. They're playing with a lot of confidence, and Joe Burrow is getting the ball out faster. The O-line for them is doing just enough to get him the ball out quick. He's not able to go down deep like he normally does because he knows he don't have the time right now. We're going to have to see what the weather's going to be like. If snow plays a factor in that again, you just got to be smart enough to put the right cleats in your shoes and dig in.
As a defensive lineman, do you lick your chops knowing you're going up against backup left tackle and right tackle guard? Do you know?
Man, we used to fight over that. But of course, you know, we had Derek Thomas, so he sees somebody wounded, he going over there. But that was Derek Thomas. He'll play with your best. He'll play with the weak link, whoever. We just was one of the kind of defense that, you know, we played on that side of the ball. We just want to get on your side of the ball and then react to the ball.
So Von, what's your thoughts, just the flip sides on our O-line against their defensive line? Because last year they were able to do it, even this year some with rushing three. Like, what do you think the offensive line for the Chiefs can do to, you know, take advantage? Like, if you're only going to rush three guys, we have to protect Patrick as much as possible, especially him dealing with this ankle.
I think the key guy that we have is Brown. He really needs to step his game up. And, you know, I like Brown, but he's kind of been a little bit for me throughout the season. You know, for him to wanted to be one of the highest paid tackles out there, he really has to step his game up. Our young guys are balling on the offensive line. You know, I don't really mind doing anything going to our right. It's just that protection backside. He need to keep his feet up under him and keep a low center of gravity. Other than that, I think we'll be okay.
Vaughn, I want to talk about the defensive line from your era. Of course, you played here in Kansas City from 94 to 97. The defense was just such a juggernaut at that time, playing with guys like Joe Phillips, Dan Seliamua, Keith Traylor, Darren Mickle, Derek Thomas, Neil Smith. We can go down the laundry list, man, yourself.
Dale Carter.
Well, that on the back end, of course, but just that up front, man. Just talk about the mentality and what that defense and just kind of the pressure that you guys had to kind of carry the day, because we didn't necessarily have a Patrick Mahomes at quarterback, right? So
right. Well, like I was saying earlier, our defense was predicated about playing on their side of the line of scrimmage. We shot the gaps pretty much almost every play. Whether it was a blitz or not, it looked like a blitz because the 4D linemen were shooting gaps and we're reacting. We always ran to the ball. Our coach used to be like, if you're not on this film, you're not doing your job. You know what I'm saying? So get to the ball. You never know what's going to happen. And another thing I want to say about our DBs, and this for most DBs throughout the whole league, I don't understand why DBs need to tackle so high. When all you got to do is get their knees together, you can't run with your legs together. They want to make the big hit, and they're getting drugged 7 yards. We need to tackle, convincingly tackle. Take your shot. If you miss, you make them at least redirect. Here come your teammate. That's why we say run to the ball. You never know what's going to happen.
Right.
We played attack defense all the time.
Right.
Hey, was there any quarterback during your day, Vaughn, that you saw that was kind of similar to what Joe Burrow does, how he can manipulate the pocket and just play the quarterback position as well as he does?
Well, probably not the same exact style, but Brett Favre, of course. You know, I had the pleasure of playing with him also, so I was able to see it firsthand. He's probably from what I can remember, one of the quarterbacks that was similar to Joe Burrow.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, and Vaughn, I want to talk to you if you can try to get inside the mindset of a Chris Jones. Great player, great talent, a great season, but still has yet to get a sack in the postseason. So do you think that puts added pressure on him after the Jaguars game? Everybody thought he had this great season, 15.5 sacks. He's going to come and he's going to get after Trevor Lawrence and get him on the ground. He didn't do it. Now there's another postseason game gone, another one in front of him, and we've struggled to get Joe Burrow on the ground. What kind of pressure do you think is on Chris Jones?
I think he puts enough pressure on himself. He's just going to go out there and play his game. He has a beautiful game. The way he uses his hands, it's not too many offensive linemen that can, block him when he put his hands on you. But I don't think it's going to be too much pressure. Like I said, I just need for the other guys to do their job, and then everybody will elevate.
Okay. Yeah,
I've seen George Karlaftis on his rush. It looks like he's going too wide, getting pushed out by the right tackle. I see him on the left side, left end a lot. He's getting pushed out by the right tackle and going too far, getting behind the quarterback, and then that gives him a lane to come up in. So I'd like to see some better kind of controlled rush out of George Karlaftis.
Yeah, and if he's going to do that, then that's simple. Just retrace your tracks. You know, if you're going to get upfield, retrace your tracks. Don't loop around. You making that hole that much bigger. Get upfield, get quarterback depth. If you can't get to the quarterback, retrace your tracks. That closes that gap right back down. You still have contain, keep your outside arm free. I mean, it seems like it's simple to say, but when you out there, all these things are clicking at once. But that's where practice comes in, and it's not just practice during the season. It's a full season now. You got to be working out full season.
Yeah, and if they're dropping 8, Vaughn, like they did last year in the AFC Championship game, how do we get Andy Reid to run the football? Because he wouldn't do it in the second half of that AFC Championship game. They're dropping 8. Sam Hubbard's dropping a defensive end for them. He keeps dropping back, making it 8 guys in coverage, and they're still throwing the football around the yard.
Again, I think we're gonna look at last year's film, and we're gonna learn a lot from it, and I hope we do anyway.
Yeah.
But I'm not worried about it. We're gonna be all right. We're going to be okay. I'm 100%. Hold on, where am I? I'm 100% ready for them. You know what I'm saying? So
Good.
It's always. Y'all should have saw it yesterday, man. When the Bengals won that game, my phone was blowing completely up.
Yeah.
Everybody like, "Are you coming to Kansas City, Book? We need tickets." I'm like, man, first of all, I can't even get no championship tickets for free. And if I do get them, I'm taking my girl.
Hey, Vaughn, you 2 games away from a Super Bowl victory, man. Put me in the mind frame of what your regimen is during that week. Are you in the film room? Are you staying the extra 2 hours? Are you putting in a couple extra gassers in? Are you eating the same? What are you thinking as a player?
Back when I was playing, I've never gotten this close to the Super Bowl, but we had some pretty good seasons in Kansas City. But I would do the same thing. I had a regimen of eating the same thing, wearing the same socks, having the same person take me up, all those kind of rituals that you do. But the closer you get, you just want to take care of your body, get a lot of rest. You know what I'm saying? Don't have a lot of distractions around you, whether it be friends and family visiting, want to come to the game. I've had it to where I had people in town and I would stay in a hotel. And back then we didn't have to stay in hotels, so just to have a peace of mind and don't have no outside distractions and be in the best position you can be to get ready for the game.
Hey, Vaughn, I was a season ticket holder at Arrowhead from 1991 through 2011, and I got to see you play quite a bit. And if you could keep it real, and as you always do, I've seen you out in Lot Day. You're an awesome dude.
Thank you.
After the 1997 season, did you know you were done in Kansas City, or did they just get Leslie O'Neal and Chester McLaughlin and not give you an offer? After 97, what happened that year?
It was funny. I was in a weight room, right? We had all season workouts, just finished working out, saw Marty. Everything was fine. Got back in my truck. I'm on my way back to Kansas, Overland Park, right? I'm in the truck, and my truck phone rings, which I've never given that number out. And I answer it, and he's like, Vaughn Booker. I'm like, yo, who is this? He's like, Mike Holmgren. I was like, Mike Holmgren? I hung up on him. He calls back again. He calls back again. Von Booker, is Mike home and we just traded for you. I'm like, whatever. Click again. The third time my phone rang, I'm like, hello? Now I'm mad. He say, Von Booker, Marty Schottenheimer. That's when I knew it was real.
Wow.
Yeah. It was like, yeah, we just want to say we really appreciate, everything you've done for us being a Chief. But we traded you to Green Bay. And that's how and I literally just saw Marty. That's what really got me. And then I had to go home and tell my wife that I got to leave tomorrow. That's how trades work. You got to leave today. My kids in school, you're not ready for any of that. But I enjoyed my time in Kansas City. I've always claimed being a Chief. I had a good time in Green Bay, and Cincinnati was probably the most difficult time of my career. But I was home. My mom was able to see me play in person, so that was the good things that came from that. But I'll always be a Chief.
Which one of them was your favorite
you have a lot
uniform?
of friends and family there that are
Chiefs, baby.
No, your favorite like the Chiefs was your favorite uniform like to wear on game day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Heck yeah.
Right on.
I mean, you got to remember, my first quarterback in the NFL was Joe Montana. My first running back was Marcus Allen. I remember these guys when I was younger, and here I am playing with them. Then I got Derek Thomas, Neil Smith, like you said, all these guys around me. I was just trying to make the team. They got me from Canada. I didn't get drafted.
Right.
And you were great, Vaughn. I love that touchdown you had in December 1995. I think Darren McHale got the sack. Darren McHale got the sack, and I think you scooped it up and ran it in right in front of us in my end zone. And you
jumped up in the stands.
You jumped up in the stands. It was a beautiful thing.
Let me tell you about that one. What's funny about that is I was thinking it's going to be like Lambeau, right? But in Arrowhead, it's a pole on top of the wall. So when I jumped, that pole went in my stomach. And Mark Collins and all these guys jumping on my back, I couldn't breathe. I had to get them up off of me.
That's funny,
That was a game winner.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. I still look at that video. So.
Hey, Vaughn, we've had some questions here in the chat about your fandom here. You go to college at Cincinnati. You're a Bearcat like Travis Kelce. You play here in Kansas City for 4 seasons. They want to know, you're in Cincinnati, you're around the Bengals fans. Just kind of how do you sort of dictate? How did you go back when you watch these games and dictate that you're going to cheer for the Chiefs, after your career ended here?
Hey, I've been going through it since I retired. I just moved to Orlando 2 months ago from Cincinnati, right?
Gotcha.
So
yeah.
Last year, the year, all that, they've been giving me the business. But it's okay. You can root for whoever you want. Just because I'm from Cincinnati is not going to make me be a Bengal fan. Because I played for them, not going to make me be a Bengal fan. I'm a Chiefs fan because the Chiefs are the first team that gave me the opportunity to be an NFL player. And I'm faithful, and I just love the Chiefs. Everything about it. I love Lot B. We party a Lot B.
Yeah.
And I ain't no daggone retired football player. I'm just a fan at that point. Just enjoying the atmosphere, the food, the drinks. And I'm going into the stadium just like everybody else.
Shane, I hope you take good care of him here. I hope you guys take good care of him, Shane.
Oh, big time. Come on. Are you serious? Dan Joy.
Heck yeah. Vaughn is blasting Lot D.
Deb Detweiler.
Yes. Hey, Vaughn, who caught your eye as the scout from Canada and to bring you to Kansas City? Was it Carl Peterson, or was it do you remember the scout that said we need to bring this guy in early 1994?
I can't remember his name. It was God. What was his name? He was tall, slim.
Okay.
I can't remember.
Do you remember?
Edwards?
No, he was white.
But what do you remember about coming to Kansas City in the spring of '94?
Oh, I remember going to camp the first day, seeing all these guys that got drafted. Like I said, I came from Canada, so my thing was I was kind of intimidated. We had I forget dude's name. He was like nothing but muscles, right? And I was like, man, this guy, ain't no way I'm gonna make this team. But once the preseason game started, I kind of put it in my head that just because you built like that don't mean you can play football. And I've been saying it ever since. Built like Tarzan, play like Jane. And I'm out there and I'm just hungry. You know, I'm thinking this is my only opportunity I'm ever going to have to be in the NFL. So every chance I got on the field, I was just trying to ball out.
Did you like the change of defensive coordinator from Dave Adolph to Gunther Cunningham?
Yeah, well, Gunther was my guy. That was boy, he was that little German man was hungry.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What I didn't understand was we had I forget our defensive line coach name, but it looked like he never played football before. And he was a great defensive line coach. At first I didn't even want to listen to him. But I'm saying, you know, people like Derek Thomas and Neil Smith listen to him and they've been successful. So I followed suit. I started hanging with people who already made it. I figure everybody that came in with me, we on the same page. You're on the same level. So I started following DT, Neil, and them. I took mass notes. I still have some of my notes.
Awesome.
And that's just how I am. I can remember things way better if I see it in my own handwriting. I can revert back to it in my memory. You know what I'm saying? So I was just so hungry and just want to take full advantage of my opportunity that I wasn't going to let anything stop me.
Hey Von, I want to know your thoughts on just like, you know, a lot in the NFL today, even with the Chiefs, you see a lot of guys who are picked much later in the draft who are coming out and having success early. We see what Brock Purdy is doing with the Niners. With the Chiefs, you have Pacheco, you have Jalen Watson. What do you think it is that these late round guys are coming and outperforming some of the first, second, third round picks? You know, with you being a guy coming from Canada, having to prove yourself.
I think you can revert it back to kind of like somebody growing up with a silver spoon. You know what I'm saying? And you really have to work to get there. Not saying these guys didn't work to become the first round draft pick in these things. It's just, I'm assuming, because I've never been that you get a little lackadaisical, you know what I'm saying, and your approach. People expect things from you. You got a lot to live up. Me and guys like Pacheco, we ain't got nothing to lose. You know, you give us an opportunity. That's all we wanted was an opportunity. So once we get that, we're going to take full advantage of it. And I would want all my players to be like that, just because that's what I liked about Marty. Marty said he's going to have the best 53 players on his team, regardless of who it is. And he believed in that. He made me believe in it. And you know, Marty, if you remember Marty, he started crying, it's over. Like you in 100%. You know, so that I just believe that these guys are hungry and they're taking full advantage of their opportunity.
Hard work beats talent that doesn't work hard, right?
There it is.
Vaughn, before we let you go, we got to get a prediction here for Sunday, 5:30 p.m. Central Time. That'll be 6:30 for you now that you've moved to the East Coast, my friend. Chiefs, Bengals. Bengals are now a slight favorite. Who wins this game, and what kind of a score are we looking at?
I think we're looking at probably about 34-28 Chiefs. I think it's going to come down to the fourth quarter, a turnover by them, or, you know, us getting a sack. A big play is going to happen in the fourth quarter that we do to them that's going to allow us to go on to the Super Bowl.
Excellent. Vaughn, we cannot thank you enough for joining us here on Arrowhead Allies. Enjoy the game. Enjoy this weekend. Thanks so much, my friend. It was an honor.
Thank you, guys. Enjoy yourself.
Always a pleasure, my
Kansas
friend.
City, bro. We going to
Jeez,
the Super Bowl, baby.
Super Bowl 57.
Man,
For much. I haven't on, man.
great to have Vaughn Booker here. He's has been on with us before, and this is a great perspective, seeing as how Vaughn lived in Cincinnati for many years, went to school there, played there for 3 seasons, but here for 4 years. And I like his prediction there. We'll get to ours at the end. We got some more thinking. I'm still not settled on what I think is going to happen in this game, guys, because we brought it up at the beginning. Man, this is an opportunity. The Chiefs 5 straight AFC Championship games. Cincinnati's coming back. The proverbial boogeyman, the Jason Voorhees, the Freddy Krueger, the Darth Vader comes to Arrowhead. One startling stat here. Brian B. Scheinen. We know we want to talk about Joe Burrow's 3-0 against Patrick Mahomes. We know that. We know that sticks out like a sore thumb. Hey, Jake Plummer was 3-0 against Tom Brady in his career. It happens, right?
I mean, I guess, man. Look, this is a totally different team than the one from last year. And I think that gets lost in the shuffle when you think about this this little rivalry that's been going on. Let's go back to week 15 or 16, wherever it was. The Chiefs are up by 7 points. I believe it was 24-17. Travis, what was the score?
24-20.
Travis Kelce gets he gets the ball, right? He catches this 20-yard pass or however long it was, and he fumbles. At that point, man, the Chiefs were really about to put the chokehold on the Bengals. The play calling switches up at that point. They can't do the same things that they were doing throughout the game. The Chris Jones and the D-line gets to pin their ears back and actually go sack the quarterback this time instead of trying to look for Joe Mixon. So a lot of things change in that regard when something wacky like that happens. The Bengals got the momentum. They scored the go-ahead touchdown. And it was game from that point on as they won 27-24. And so, man, they won all of these games by 3 points each.
Yeah.
It's really a toss-up at this point, if we're being honest. Of course, Patrick's ankle is of concern, but we know the competitor he is. I'm telling you, man, it's up to that D-line and Chris Jones. I'm gonna be barking on this all week about 95, 55, 56, and 99. About how they need to get after it.
Yeah, I think it's going to really come down to the like Von said, a big turnover. Because when you looked at that game, 24-20, Chiefs winning, the fumble happened. The Chiefs still had a chance. They drove down, and Butker missed a 55-yard field goal that would have tied it. So the Chiefs they started off slow. So I'm hoping that they can start off faster. They went down 10-0. Pretty fast. So I'm hoping they can get a fast start. And like you said, man, it's going to come down to the trenches. It's going to come down to can the O-line continue to open holes because we ran really well against the Bengals. But can they protect Mahomes, which I think he's going to be okay. If you remember in 2019, he had a high ankle sprain and he was able to play and went like 5-2 in that little span of playing. So I think he's going to be okay. We didn't have Tony or McCole that game, so we didn't have a gadget guy that we could really use just to throw them off to keep that defense off balance. I think the McCole Hartman watch is going to be real. Like, can he make it? And it's not even, for me, it's not even to be like a big-time receiver. It's just special teams if he can come. But if not, like just having Tony just gives this defense, the Bengals defense, something that they haven't seen. So, man, I'm really excited because I think that if the Chiefs defensive line can eat and really attack these backup guys and make it as tough as possible, and then stopping the run because P. Ryan had a hell of a game early in the season. P. Ryan and Mixon, they did their thing in the AFC Championship game last year. It's going to really come down to the trenches, but I just think that we can have an edge, with Chris Jones going to be as hungry as ever to go get a sack. But it's going to come down to that and who can win the turnover battle because that's been the reason why the Chiefs has taken the last couple losses to Cincinnati.
When you look back at the game in December, Joe Mixon didn't play. P. Ryan was huge for the Bengals offense. The Chiefs were forced, or Andy Reid was more to take chances in that game because he knew he didn't want it to be close, especially with the Chiefs trailing by 3 points with 5 minutes left in the third quarter. 4th and goal to 3, the Chiefs went for it. And I was thinking, man, this is a smart, take your 3 points and tie it up. And Patrick Mahomes ran and barely got the ball in the end zone for a touchdown. He gambled and he won. Then the Chiefs were able to force Cincinnati to go down and kick a field goal, but they were able to keep that the Chiefs were able to have that 4-point lead. But where the Chiefs fell short, in my opinion, that game, Orlando Brown got owned. You can go look at the film of that game. He got owned. The reason why we had to settle for that 55-yard field goal attempt, which was questionable in itself, because it was 4th and 5. If you need to go for it, all that field goal is going to do is tie the game when you haven't stopped them in the second half. Orlando Brown was just beaten. And let's keep it real. Orlando Brown was getting beat a lot before Patrick Mahomes' injury. Do I feel that Orlando Brown Jr.'s play is the reason for Patrick Mahomes' injury? I don't know that yet because I want to see the all 22 footage from all different angles. But there is some concern about Orlando Brown Jr.'s play at left tackle, especially now that Patrick Mahomes has a high ankle sprain. I do believe the Chiefs will be in this game in the fourth quarter. I think the coaching staff will come up with a scheme to protect Patrick Mahomes. I think they will obviously keep him in the pocket more because of his ankle. But I think the offensive line, and as you said, Mikel, the defensive line, we're going to have to win this game in the trenches. What do you think, Noah?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you guys on that. Defensive line is going to be the key to this game. And you guys have been talking about the ankle as well. And you guys have said it before that Patrick Mahomes suffered in 2019 against the Jaguars. That ankle was worse than the one he suffered in the playoff game against the Jags. And we look at it in 2019, the two games right after that, Michael, you kind of alluded to this. We played the Raiders, and where Demarcus Robinson looked like Jerry Rice, 6 catches for 170 yards.
That really happened.
Mahomes, 404
that.
yards, 4 touchdowns. Then we go and play the Ravens right after that, 374 yards, 3 touchdowns. And there's a McCole Hardman sighting, 2 catches, 97 yards, and a touchdown. I almost didn't put that in there because of my disdain for that man, but I wanted to give throw some flowers at him for Brian and Michael, throw some flowers at McCole Hardman there. So
yeah, he did used to play for this franchise back in the before times in the long ago. And we will see him next year as a Carolina Panther. He's going to look good with those black pants and the silver helmets. Look, how about this? We have a referee announcement for this. This is Ron Torbert. Actually, it's not Carl Sheffers. That was everybody's biggest fear. But Ron Torbert, if I'm not mistaken, guys, did referee the first meeting last season in week 17. The Chiefs lost to the Bengals, where there were numerous pass interferences and holdings that just got the Bengals down the field and in a position to just let the air out of the ball. Didn't even have to make a play to win the game. Just 16 pass interferences and Bengals win.
Yeah, man, I hope the refs don't do anything to hurt this game and just, let the players play unless it's like clearly a pass interference. Because we remember the Super Bowl where the Chiefs played one way the entire season, and not until the Super Bowl did they decide to call every penalty. So I'm hoping that the refs doesn't, do anything to throw off this game, or hell, even the Eagles-Niners game. Let the best team win. Let these guys play football.
We've been talking about this. What exactly are we playing for, guys? And I think the best person that can say that is John Candy from Rookie of the Year.
This is it, folks. This is what it's all about. One game. There is no tomorrow. This is for the whole Magilla, for the whole ball of wax, for the whole kit and caboodle, for the whole enchilada, the whole shooting match. This is for all the marbles.
That really puts it in perspective, right, Brian?
Yeah, a little bit. Love that movie too. Came out summer of 1993. Man, that was a great summer. Somebody mentioned in the comments earlier about running the damn ball. I harp on that all the time, especially in the middle of the game. I'm like, Andy runs it on second down, but not on first down most of the time. And then we abandon it, especially when Pacheco's getting 12 carries for 95 yards, averaging 7.9 yards per touch. Man. It's maddening, gentlemen. It is maddening because it is there. It is there. And this is a run-blocking offensive line. It's maddening, but I know who we're dealing with, and he's a great coach, no doubt about it. The first coach in NFL history to take 2 teams for 10 postseason wins.
Yep.
Two teams with 100 wins each. I mean, Andy Reid is magnificent. I love him to death. But damn it, run the ball. You got soldiers at Pacheco. Use that man.
Let's see it happen.
Absolutely. We've got to start running the football. And I'm usually not the one to say that. I want to keep the ball in Mahomes' hands and throw it all over the yard. But especially when they're dropping 8 in that game, I was screaming at Andy to run it. He just wouldn't do it. Part of that's on Patrick Mahomes. They had some run pass options called, some RPOs, and he would take it out of the back's belly and try and force it to Demarcus Robinson. But I want to welcome Steve Hall to the show, a Bengals fan here. Thanks for joining us here on a Chiefs show, Arrowhead Allies. But we always welcome other opposing fans. We've had Bills fans, Raiders fans, Broncos fans. Now we get a Bengals fan here. And how do you see this game going? Well, just keep listening to the show. That's pretty much all we're going to be talking about. So watch throughout the entirety of the show, and we'll answer that question.
Steve, I think we're all experiencing some anxiety here. And we have a friend, we had a video sent in to us from this friend that is experiencing quite some anxiety over this and just how you deal with this. And let's just go to the clip.
Zach arrives to take his friend and Chiefs fan, Jesse, to the AFC Championship game. But she feels like she needs pills to handle the anxiety and fear.
I'm so excited! I'm so scared!
Jesse.
That's how I feel, and that's how I will be before that game as well. I am excited, but I am probably more scared.
You're always gonna have that. You're always going to feel like that. Like even when we played, the Texans in 2019, I felt a little way because I'm like, damn, it's Deshaun Watson. And now it's that moment that you want to play for. If you lose, you go home. I guarantee the Raider fans are wishing they could be in the AFC Championship. So I just think that the Chiefs, they're going to be ready to go. Cincy is going to be ready to go. It's just going to come down to a few big plays, maybe certain game plans. Like just to take you to the Cincy Buffalo game, I think Buffalo's issue, which it has been all season, is that they just couldn't run the ball. Like I just don't think that they could run the ball consistently enough. I never trust Singletary. That's why I never draft him in fantasy. James Cook is not Dalvin Cook, and they couldn't do that to where I believe that the Chiefs know, like, we can run the ball on them. Let them come out with 3 down linemen and drop 8. We can run the ball on them and make it tough. It's going to come down to Andy Reid. Is he going to be willing to commit? Last year they had 90 rushing yards in the first half. They only ran the ball 4 times in the second half. So if the run game is going and flowing really well, will Andy commit? I think it's something that we have to look out for. And then on the other side, can we stop their run to make Joe Burrow one-dimensional to where our D lineman can say, hey, let's just attack and get at Joe.
Yeah, you called it, Michael, and a big shout out to
Nice
Buffalo, the Expendables, as we'll call them, the October National Football League champs. We do need to recognize that. They do win a trophy for that, being the October NFL champions. They beat Skylar Thompson in a wild card game by 3, and just goodbye and farewell to the Buffalo Bills. So
don't do that to Mr. January, man.
I know. I'm sorry.
You can't do that. And I was trying to, like, why did Romo call him that? But I get it now. He's Mr. January because that's when the season's going to end. So
makes sense.
Yeah,
shout out to February, baby.
Yeah.
Why won't we just start Chad Henne? Because Patrick Mahomes is better, and I want to go to a Super Bowl. I think that covers it. I
Gotcha. Yeah, agreed.
You only start Chad Henne if Patrick can't go.
Yeah,
and that's not going to happen.
Yeah,
we do have a Starcade Media exclusive here, though. I mean, after Mahomes injured his ankle, Brittany was obviously worried, and then they saw that the Bengals were coming in again. He's 0-3. She's very worried about him, and we got a little exclusive back and forth between Brittany and Patrick inside their home. This is the conversation that they were having, so please stay tuned for this.
Have you read the papers? Do you know what everybody says? It's suicide. You've seen him. You know how strong he is. You can't win.
Maybe I can't win. Maybe the only thing I can do is just take everything he's got. But the baby, he's gonna have to kill me. And to kill me, he's gonna have the heart to stand in front of me. And to do that, he's gotta be willing to die himself. I don't know if he's ready to do that.
You had it right there. He's going to have to be willing to die himself, and he doesn't think Joe Burrow's ready to do that. And I sure hope
no easy way out. There's no easy way out.
There isn't, Shane. I've been looking for one, and there's not.
Yeah,
there's no shortcut home.
Yeah, I figured at the beginning of the season, everybody was screaming Buffalo, 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 but I always felt that they weren't balanced offensively, and then losing Von Miller really killed, I think, their chances. To where, Cincinnati is like so well balanced, one of the most balanced teams. So it makes it tough. So I figured the Chiefs would have to go through them. But like we said earlier, 3 L's by 3 points. That doesn't, like, they're not coming in the Kansas City and just smacking the Chiefs up. They just find ways to make those little plays to win. So we're just going to have to see the Chiefs bring their A+ game and hope that, the Bengals slip up, the Chiefs need to call John Harbaugh and say, hey, we need some tips because y'all can put any quarterback back there. Y'all find a way to make it tough. We need some tips. But I think the Chiefs the Chiefs can do it.
The Chiefs need to make
defensive tips.
Yeah,
I don't want the offensive tips, but
my major concern with the Bengals game last month, another one, in the entire landscape, in totality, looking back at that game, the Chiefs only had Cincinnati punt once. The Chiefs did stop them on the 4th and 1 when Carlos Dunlap read that sweep, but for the most part, the Bengals only punted the football once. We're gonna have to force multiple punts and not let them own the clock. And with the game on the line, 3rd and 11, Joe Burrow threw that ball through the tightest window I've ever seen. So Joe Burrow deserves props for that, because even if you would have held the Cincinnati to a field goal attempt, you get the ball back with a minute and a half down 6.
Yep.
And he was able to stand tall in the pocket and put the ball on the money. We got to force more punts. We got to deflect passes. I would say we need to get more sacks, but that might be asking too much. But just get your hands up and deflect the passes. Of course, I want sacks. Of course, I want Chris Jones to get a couple of playoff sacks, because Chris Jones will be the difference in this game. We need to force Cincinnati to punt the football Sunday night more than once.
Man, that, you know what, Shaggy, you brought up a good point. And I thought the Chiefs did a pretty good job against Jacksonville of getting off the field. There were a lot of third and medium, third and long situations. And there were a lot of third and long situations against these Bengals earlier this year where Joshua Williams would get a holding penalty. Or there will be, like you just said, Burrow squeezing in a tight window at the very end of Higgins. Or it would be just something would happen on third down to where the Bengals would stay on the field, man. And that's the key to it. You got to limit possessions. You got to shorten this game up a lot. And that's why I'm a big proponent of running the ball, and why I think the D-line has to bring the lunchbox this game. You got to shorten the game for the Bengals, limit their possessions to make sure that Burrow's not on the field, because when he is, him and Chase have, I'm not going to say what Patrick and Kelsey have, but it's similar, because, they were in college with each other. So they know what to do. They know how to adjust, and they know each other very well on the field. So keep that offense off the field, man. You got to get off the field on those third and long and third and medium situations.
I'm happy Josh won't be touching the field unless there's an injury, because he had his issues in that Bengals game. And Jalen Watson just seems to make the big play, and I think that the Chiefs are going to need that big play. So to have Jalen out there kind of gives you more confidence. And then I'm hoping the Chiefs may even try, to bangle it a little bit, as far as I think the Chiefs sometimes when they're in passing situations to drop 8 and, pass rush with 3 and have Nick Bolton there to kind of be like a spy on Joe Burrow just in case he kind of run, because Buffalo was kind of doing some of that and it was working in passing situations. It's just their offense couldn't do anything. So it gave the Bengals more and more opportunities to, go and run it up to win 2017.
Well, guys, we talked last week, Noah, about Travis Kelce. No touchdowns through 6 games. 2 touchdowns against the Jags. We know playoff Kelce's different. He said it on two different interviews today, guys. Kelce said basically the regular season is just a bore. He wants to fast forward into the playoffs, and that's when he's really ready to play. We know Kadarius Toney's ready to go. We know Juju, MVS. But Noah, unfortunately, there's something that just doesn't smell right here when it comes to the receiving core. We have just a bit of a
segment bring here on Arrowhead Allies. It's called Something Smells. And of course, the Chiefs beat the Jaguars. It was a great effort. Chad Henne going 98 yards on his drive when he had to come in for Mahomes. Mahomes coming back in, salting that game away. But after that game, I couldn't help but feel a little disappointment, a little lackluster with a member of the receiving core that we've talked about a few times here, and that is Sky Moore's rookie. That must be a typo there. Rookie season. Last 6 games, 6 catches, 45 yards, 0 touchdowns for the season. 22 catches, 250 yards, and 0 touchdowns. I'm just not liking what I'm seeing as this thing continues. I thought we'd see more down the stretch and getting more involved. McCall Hardman's been out. They've been working Kadarius Toney in. Justin Watson had the drops, but they're still going to him before Sky Moore. I'm not liking how this rookie season. Now, it's not over by a long shot. He can come back next year and shut me up and prove me wrong. I said the same thing about McCole for the last 4 years. He hasn't done it. And now hopefully Sky Moore can turn that around and he will shut me up. But right now I'm not liking what I'm seeing now. This rookie season, Brian is making a face at
his stats make McCole Hardman's rookie stats makes McCole Hardman look like the second coming of Randy Moss, Jerry Rice morphed into one human. That is terrible. The only memorable thing we have from Sky Moore this whole year is 3 muffed punts. It was a terrible pick. Michael Matthew, you sat and you watched Noah and I's face when we took that man and we traded it down when we could have had George Pickens, and I am incensed over it. And I think that what we have here, it's McCole Hardman all over again. I don't know that he could ever get to McCole Hardman's poop stats. What a joke.
I just think it comes down to opportunity. Like, he just didn't get – we saw the game versus the Chargers early in the year where he made some big-time catches. You know, we hear about him being able to, catch the football well. It's just opportunity. You come in, MVS is in front of you, Juju is in front of you. Then you add Kadarius Toney, who's going to get – then you have McCole Hardman, who is in front of you. So I just think that he's just behind the 8 ball. The Chiefs really like Justin Watson because he's 6'4".
I don't.
So you want a big body that can,
They want a big body. You draft DK Metcalf for George Pickens. Oh, you couldn't have said that. Oh, my ears.
But that's just a guy that I think Pat had a crush on, even in the offseason when he called and said, hey, who is this guy that's running around this fast? So that's why he has an opportunity. We don't need to talk about Sky right now. We might make a catch this game or two.
Well, if Patrick Mahomes is having crushes on people that we're drafting, that needs to stop because he had one on Clyde Edwards-Helaire too.
Yeah,
man, look. No, Andy Reid's offense is notoriously hard to learn in the receiver position. All right. Coming into the NFL is not easy. And especially when you're behind, Juju, you're behind MVS. And so, man, I'm with all that being said, I'm giving Sky Moore a pass because it would be different on offense if he got on the field and he wasn't effective. Mm-hmm. But when he got on the field, he looked good. The routes that he ran, the plays that they had scripted for him. Remember, was it the Titans game? Whichever game he muffed another punt, and it was a nighttime game. It was the Rams. Okay, yeah. Andy Reid went right back to him. It was like 3 or 4 plays where Sky Moore, where he got off. So, man, I'm not worried about Sky. It would be different if he was wasn't effective on offense. But I see potential in him. But I completely understand in this circumstance, Noah and Clint, why you all are frustrated because George Pickens he looks mighty, mighty fine.
800 yards versus 250.
I believe what Western Michigan, what's that, Division II?
That's a MAC team. They're a MAC team.
I think they believe in him for long-term goals like they do with so many of the other rookies. Yeah. And I don't like comparing him to Albert Wilson because Albert Wilson was undrafted, but I think Albert Wilson only had like 12 catches for 220 yards his rookie season. But that's the type of wide receiver that Sky Moore is. He's just like Albert Wilson, but they must believe in his upside and his potential and what he can learn in the long term. So I can't really compare him to Kadarius Toney on the Chiefs now because Kadarius Toney is playing better, but Kadarius Toney looks like he's played. Sky Moore still has a lot to learn. So, with him being a rookie and how Andy Reid his rookie receivers never really developed the rookie year other than really McCole Hardman, you really can't say much about that. So we just need him to have some moments. Yeah. I talked on my show, just have some moments, just have a moment. If there's a 3rd and 8 that needs to be picked up and he catches the ball for a first down this Sunday that helps kill the clock when we got a 4-point lead, then that's the moment we're going to need him.
Yeah, I mean, we're running out of moments to have, time to have these moments. So hopefully it is on Sunday. But I digress. We're going to get off Sky Moore and all that. We can talk about that in the offseason again. Well, let's get back to this Bengals game. We've got the head-to-head here. Joe Burrow, obviously everybody knows 3-0. Completion percentage, 72 for Joe, 67 for Mahomes. pass yards, 327 for Joe, only 252 for Mahomes. And we're not running the ball effectively in those games. So that is even more concerning if we're not running the ball effectively or enough, not just giving them enough opportunities, that we only have 252 yards passing. And 8 touchdowns, 1 interception for Joe, 6 and 2 for Mahomes. So the stats aren't that crazy, aren't that far off. It's not like Joe's just dominating, like Brian has said, and Michael. These have been 3-point ball games, closed coin flips. Either way, it just hasn't gone our way 3 times in a row. Hopefully it does this 4th time. But the 3-0 that has got to change. We're talking about legacies here, guys. Legacies are going to be made that much stronger. Not that it's going to ruin a legacy or make Mahomes' legacy less than, just like, oh, he's some awful quarterback now or a forgotten quarterback. No, but he can just elevate that much more. And you heard Romo say it on the game when it was the Bengals and Bills. He's saying since he wins this AFC Championship, they are now the guys in the AFC. They're the leaders in the AFC. It goes through Joe Burrow. It goes through Cincinnati. They're the kings of the AFC. No more of this Chiefs stuff. And so that's what I'm fearful of and scared of. And I cannot have that be the narrative. So they have to win this game.
Yeah. Whoever wins this game, you're going to look at them as, okay, these are the kings of the AFC, but it comes down to winning Super Bowls too. So you can be the Buffalo Bills of the early 90s and
right.
Make all these Super Bowls. But if you're not winning, it doesn't really matter, So it's about getting there and getting the job done. But no, it's going to be a hell of a matchup. I think those stats are a little off because a lot of those games, the Bengals were coming back. So it was like, Joe, we got to pass. So he was able to run up the numbers while, some of it, the Chiefs were playing, a little more conservative when they should have, step on their necks. But, man, Joe is special. Joe Burrow is special. I remember before the season joining a lot of different Twitter spaces, and everybody kept saying Josh Allen and, all these guys. I'm like, bro, Joe Burrow is the truth. Like, if you didn't watch him at LSU and you didn't see what he was able to do with the team to make the Super Bowl last year, like, the guy is really a problem to where, you have to respect him. And that's why this game is like Magic versus Bird, to where you don't know who to choose because it can go either way. That's why it's going to come down to the others to step up and do their things. And it's going to come down to coaching. If Andy Reid can give us one of those great coach games where they can get an early lead and do some things, I think that the Chiefs have a great opportunity. But if Andy Reid, you go into half and you're up 10 points and you come out of half and you don't know what the hell you're doing, like last year, then it's going to be a problem. But it's going to be more than just Joe and Patrick. It's going to be everybody else that decides this game.
Yeah, we need to see that defensive line, get the sacks, get after Joe Burrow. I mean, we've kind of gone with a Rocky theme. We saw what happened with Rocky and the Russian, Ivan Drago in Rocky 4. This is Mahomes Burrow 4. We need to see Joe Burrow get sacked, have some mistakes, and for Andy Reid and everyone on the sideline, he's cut. He's not a machine. He's a man. We must get a little confidence back in our game.
Yeah, you're right. And it's that time of the show where we kind of do our predictions. And this is a little different. This is not just playing the Rams in week 12 or whatever, and 22-10 or whatever this is, to me, this has so much cachet. This matchup is a heavyweight fight. It's any cliche that you want to bring up. And I'm a big event person, and this has all the makings, and I'm not ready to make a prediction yet. Brian, I've got to start with you because I think that you probably have it locked in. You have a Bengals fan in your home, so you probably had some back and forth. Just get us up on the right foot, man.
Look, man, my in-laws have already been giving me hell since the Bengals won yesterday. Matter of fact, they've been giving me hell since the Bengals beat us in the AFC Championship last year.
Sure.
So, and there's nothing I can say about it.
Right.
Nothing. I can't do anything. There's no comeback. All I can point to is that they have no hardware in Cincinnati. You take a metal detector up there and you won't find anything in their hardware case. But other than that, man, they beat our ass, not beat our ass. They've won these games, these past three games. But I don't see that. I don't, man. I don't. Not this game. No, I think the defense is going to come up and step up and be the right ankle that Patrick Mahomes' ankle is injured. They're going to be that ankle that he can lean on. And this is going to be a Chris Jones, Isaiah Pacheco game, man. And I'm gonna set the scene for you. I'm gonna set it for you. The Chiefs are down by 2 points. They're down. Let's see. let me 24-23, or let's say they're down 1 point. We need a field goal to tie this thing. Okay, we're under the 2-minute warning. I think Andy Reid calls some things up, dials some things up. We get down to the 40-yard line, but we don't get any further than that. And we have to depend on a 58-yard field goal from Harrison Butker to win this thing. And the Chiefs escape with a 26-24 win to advance to Super Bowl 57 to take on San Francisco 49ers.
You're not
Mike Hill, can you beat that scenario?
Man, so it's crazy because I nearly have it identical. I think we're going to have a bout that's going to be a tie game. It's going to be back and forth most of the way. The Chiefs, it's going to come down who gets the ball last. The Chiefs are going to get the ball last, drive down, and kick a 43-yard field goal. Harrison Butker is going to be the hero. We're going to be talking about Kadarius Toney making some big plays. We're going to be talking about McKinney making some big plays. And the defensive line, I have the Chiefs taking care of business 27-24, where they're going to face off against the Philadelphia Eagles. I think we're going to have the Andy Reid Bowl. The Eagles really made me a believer on how they destroyed the Giants. And I think that the way that they play is going to be something that's so unique that even the Niners may have a little struggles with them. So Chiefs, Eagles, Andy Reid Bowl. I can't wait, baby.
Shane, you're up.
You know what, guys? You've had me on last year in the playoffs with Donnell Bennett and Kimball Anders going back, and I can't thank you enough. We sat here and expanded with two Chiefs Hall of Famers, really. Donnell Bennett will be one day, Kimball Anders this year, and we expanded on what happened, what caused that collapse, and we speculated on a whole bunch of different things, and why was Patrick Mahomes so uncomfortable. And as I mentioned right here last week, I told you I never went back and watched that AFC Championship game, but I went and watched the All-22 of Kurt Warner. And Kurt Warner said for all 4 quarters, the entire game, Patrick Mahomes was not comfortable in the pocket, constantly bouncing out, even on the touchdown pass to Tyreek Hill, McCole Hardman, and Travis Kelce. He was showing tendencies that you don't want to see from a starting quarterback in the National Football League. Well, guess what? Patrick Mahomes will not be this 100% self going into this game. The best thing that I believe that will happen to him this Sunday is he's going to be forced to stay in the pocket. He'll still do some Patrick Mahomes creativity. Let's not get it twisted. But I think keeping Patrick Mahomes in the pocket will be more effective. And I think Andy Reid having 8 days to dial up a scheme where he knows his quarterback is limited, where he knows his starting quarterback isn't 100%, where he knows the last time his quarterback had a high ankle sprain, he passed for 400 yards the next week. So he knows what he has to do to sustain Patrick Mahomes' legacy and to win an AFC Championship game. I do not take the Cincinnati Bengals for granted. They are much better this year than they were last year. Those wide receivers have grown. Both running backs are going to be hard to stop. Spagnuolo's got to dial it up. He's got to keep that running game limited. He can't let Perini or Pernine and Mixon move the chains. If Chris Jones isn't going to get any sacks, he's got to get his hands up. But I think it's going to come down late. I think it's going to come down late to the last possession as well. But it's not going to be a 58-yarder because it's going to be 11 degrees at kickoff. And I don't know how Butker could kick a 58-yard field goal in 0-degree wind chill. But I like Brian's thoughts. I'm not going to, because if it happens, I'll say, hey, it happened. But I think it's going to come down late to the game. I think it's going to come down to Butker kicking a 35-yard field goal for the win. Chiefs win 30-27 and advance to the Super Bowl. What do you think, Noah?
Yeah, man, guys, I really want this defensive line to get after Joe Burrow. The Bills didn't do it. Everybody says this defensive line's different. Dunlap, Jones, Clark, Saunders, Harloftus, they're going to do it, but I got to steal a line from Patrick Mahomes. I'll see it when I believe it because they haven't been able to do it, and we've been with a rocky theme here, and so I'm going to stick with that. I'm afraid, all right? I'm afraid. For the first time since Patrick Mahomes has been our quarterback, I'm afraid. My prediction for this game, pain. 31-27 Bengals.
You are evil.
You know,
man.
Where's your nuts at,
I
Noah?
don't
And I can't have it. I will lose my mind if we lose this game.
I'm sorry to the viewers under 18, but where are your nuts at, Noah? Come on, man.
Somewhere over in Cincinnati. I don't know.
Check the tape. I think Noah said the Chiefs will lose. The Chiefs won. So I think I like his prediction.
I was thinking that too earlier, Michael, as well. I think I was like, I've predicted a lot of losses this year, and they've all been wins. Let's try her one more.
Yeah.
Take one for the team.
Man,
What do you got, Clint?
you guys, there's so much on the line here. I look at everything from just a large perspective, and I view things like legacy and championships at a different level, you know, respecting this game so much as I did growing up and the players that made it. And the fact that the Chiefs are here in this position now, a 5th straight AFC championship. You cannot go 2-3 in AFC championship games at home. Guys, for those wrestling fans out there that like to tune in, and for everybody in here, you know that inexplicably Shawn Michaels had an undefeated streak against The Undertaker that lasted decades. Because The Undertaker could not beat Shawn Michaels. It was never going to happen. He always found a way. Kane ripped the cage off one time and came in and tombstoned The Undertaker, giving Shawn a victory out the back door. But finally at WrestleMania 25,
don't forget about Royal Rumble.
Him. Shawn Michaels' back bounces off the casket and he ends his career, right? So the Chiefs in this moment, I believe if Patrick Mahomes is who we believe that he is, and I believe that he is special, I believe that he is any comparison you want to make to a Michael Jordan, to a Joe Montana, to an all-time great, someone that's almost inhuman. I think that this is the time where the Chiefs put it to rest. The Chiefs win this game. It's 34-31, and they go to the Super Bowl to take on the Philadelphia Eagles in Glendale, where Noah and I will be. The Chiefs win it. And they say, take that monkey off my back, just like Steve Young did in the Super Bowl in 1995.
Perfect.
We've got some Bengals fans in the chat here, I guess. Elise Feldman, Houday. She said, you have every reason to be afraid. Brian McHugh is apparently also a Bengals fan. Houday, welcome to the show, everybody. We thank you for tuning in and watching this Chiefs show. Talking about the
rings. No rings.
They are
afraid of what?
They've become the big team this year than they were last year, without a doubt.
They're the uninvited guests, man. They're the bullies on the block that just said, "Hey, you got Mahomes for the next decade. Josh Allen coming."
They're not coming to Kansas City to bully us. I tell you that. No, sir. We stopping it right there. I'm not taking that. No, sir. This is Kansas City, baby. Woo. All right, the home of champions. Let's go, Kingdom.
Hey, the show me state, and they're going to have to show me that they can get off the schneid.
Guys, enjoy it on Sunday. It is the AFC Championship game. Take these moments and just live in the moment, because these do not come around unless you're the Chiefs every 5 years, every year. So,
our worst barbecue restaurant is better than Skyline Chili. Period.
True. Very true. Joe Burrow agrees. He hates Ohio food. He told us that at SEC Media Days 2019. You were right. Thank you guys for joining us.
Final time before the Super Bowl. Let's go Chiefs!